I don't know if the sound of that fountain is a lovely background noise or actually just super annoying. Happy Friday, welcome back to Drinking by Myself. My name is Emma and in this video I'm going to bring you my 5-star predictions. I have got a list of 7 books that I predict I'm going to absolutely love. That statement's actually not quite true. I did have a list of 7 books that I predicted I was going to absolutely love, but I actually already read in the few days between making the list and now one of the books, and I only gave it a 3-star. So it turns out I was wrong on one of them, but I'm still holding out hopes that the rest of them will be 5-star reads. But quick thing that I want you guys to do, before I get into the books, including I will tell you which is the book that I turned out to be wrong about, I have got another video idea I'm planning that I need your help for. Can you, in the comments, write a book that, based on my taste and everything you know about me that I've said in videos, what is a book that you think I would absolutely love? I also did a community post about this, so you can comment on there or in this video, whichever, and I'm going to see which books are the most suggested. And of course, I'm going to read them. But there is more to the video than that, so you will have to wait and see. But yeah, please let me know what are your 5-star predictions for me. Okay, back to me, because it's my channel, not yours. This is the first book that was on my 5-star prediction list. It's The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. So I read another of Yoko Ogawa's books earlier this lockdown, which was called The Housekeeper and the Professor. You may have seen I was reading it when I was doing my Owls vlogs, I think, so I talked about it a lot. I absolutely loved it. It was 5 stars. So I asked for this book for my birthday. And I really did enjoy it. I really like Yoko Ogawa's writing. I really liked the very strange premise in this book, but it just didn't quite pull together the same way for me, and I ended up only giving it a 3 stars. So The Memory Police, what it's about is this dystopian world in which things can just vanish from the world overnight. So you might wake up and birds have disappeared. But what that means, I mean, I wish birds would disappear, they're so noisy right now. What that means is the birds are still there. They don't go away, but you no longer remember what a bird is. And then the memory police go around making sure that people aren't holding on to items that were supposed to have disappeared, and definitely making sure that people aren't accidentally having memories that they're not supposed to have. So it's this really cool premise, but it just didn't quite go anywhere for me, and it got to the end and I was like, not really sure what I was supposed to take from that. I think I probably missed something. I probably missed the point, because a lot of people loved this book and the Goodreads reviews were like raving about it and everything that it meant and all the symbolism. So I think I probably just like slightly missed it. But yeah, this ended up being just a 3-star, but I would definitely read more Yoko Ogawa because it has not put me off her writing at all. Windy day. Stop blowing my tiny little... I have this like tiny little baby fringe that has never ever grown, and I just don't want it in my face. Okay, now for my 6 predictions that I have yet to read, and I'm really hoping these will all be 5 stars. I will film a full like reaction video like I did once before. I will link to that if you guys want to see that. Yeah, when I've read all of these books I will do a reaction, but that might be years because you know how long it takes me to get to anything. Okay, first up I have Akin by Emma Donoghue. This is my proof copy. The book is actually out now, I just haven't got a finished copy. I've still got this proof. But Emma Donoghue is this amazing writer. I have read just 3, I think, of her books so far. I read Room, I read The Wonder, and I read her short story collection Kissing the Witch, and they were all so different from each other, but I loved all of them in really different ways. So I think she's this really versatile writer. And this sounds just very moving, really. So this is about an old man who suddenly gets custody of his great nephew, or like some connection like that, and they don't really know each other and they have very different lives. And this old man was just about to go on a trip to France to like trace his family history, and he ends up having to take this little boy with him, and it's about them bonding, and I love that kind of shit. So this sounds like it will make me cry and be a 5-star read, especially written by Emma Donoghue. Okay, next up, Of Murder, Muses and Me by Claudia, Chibici-Revneanu. I looked up the pronunciation to her name and that was the only recording I could hear. I don't know if that was right, so please do correct me, but I did try to look it up. So I got this book from Jacaranda Books. So they are a publisher, a black-owned publisher that publish black authors, and they were doing a fundraiser along with another bookshop for raising money for inclusive indie bookshops. And this fundraiser got loads of attention, which was great, and I donated. And after I donated, I thought that I would actually go and have a look at their website and choose some books, and I chose a bunch because they had so many that looked so good. The other 2 I'm still waiting for, but this one has arrived, and I just think it looks brilliant. So it looks like a kind of funny, witty murder mystery that's also about writers. I love anything where books and writing are part of the story in a book. So it's about a best-selling author who is found dead in his his studio, and our main character is this girl Rosalind, who was a devoted fan of his, and she starts the investigation. It takes her to London, to the heart of the publishing industry, where she encounters an intriguing cast of characters. This sounds like it has everything I love in a book. This next book I'm being very ambitious with. So this is Trust Exercise by Susan Choi. I chose this one randomly on Waterstones a few months ago. It was right after I had actually done a video, I can't remember which video it was, but I was saying how I so rarely just pick books up anymore from just browsing the bookshelves. I just watch Booktube all the time and I get these recommendations and I go and seek out specific books. So I very deliberately decided to go to Waterstones and just browse the shelves and pick up some books I'd never heard of, and this was one of them. And it was only after I chose it and bought it, I then let myself look on Goodreads and saw that the reviews were so bad. But I didn't let it put me off, because I just feel like I'm going to have an unpopular opinion and like this book, because it so sounds like my kind of thing. So it's about two teenagers at a performing arts school who I think become kind of obsessed with their really charismatic drama teacher, who initiates them into a dangerous game. So we learn about them then, but we also catch up with them 20 years later and find out the real story of what happened, kind of from a new perspective. I love that kind of thing. I don't see how this is going to end up having bad reviews. This next one is the one I am most uncertain about, but hopeful about, and that's The People in the Trees by Hanya Yanagihara. So this is the same author of A Little Life. I absolutely loved A Little Life. I know it's a very divisive book on Booktube. Some people hate it. It's very long and very sad, which isn't for everyone. I really liked it. But this book, which is actually her first book, is apparently nothing like it. It's very strange, I've heard. So I don't know how I'm going to get on with it. I love strange books, but it's like I either absolutely love them or I'm just completely baffled and lost and don't know what's going on. Vaguely speaking, it's about a doctor who goes on this expedition and encounters a strange group of people who live in the trees who appear to have attained immortality. And then it's about like the misuse of power when different cultures collide, in the fact that he finds these people and then like uses them for his own gain and fame and everything. So I hope that it will be a 5-star read and I will love it just as much as A Little Life, and hopefully it'll be less devastating than A Little Life. But I have just heard it's strange. One of my friends read it and really liked it and really recommended, but she did say it's strange. So there's a chance that I just like won't quite gel with it, or I will absolutely become obsessed with it. Then I've got The Harpy by Megan Hunter. Again, this is just my proof copy. So this, I read Megan Hunter's last book, which was called The End We Start From, which was again a really interesting, short, quirky book about a kind of apocalyptic, like end of the world flood scenario, but it was very interestingly told. It was almost quite like poetic, and it wasn't this like super plot driven novel, even though it's such a high stakes plot. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about The Harpy by Megan Hunter, which is about a husband and wife, and the husband has an affair, and so they agree that kind of in exchange, in order to get their relationship back on equal footing, the woman, the wife, is allowed to hurt him 3 times. But I think again this is a slightly weird book. It's more than just that. She, as part of this revenge, actually starts going through this like transformation into almost like a mythical creature. It says on the back that it's a dark fairy tale, and that's always a buzzword that I love, and it says that it's at once mythical and otherworldly and fiercely contemporary. I just think it's gonna be 5 stars, you know? And then finally, my last prediction is The Next Step in the Dance by Tim Gautreaux. So I got this one at Mr. B's bookshop in Bath, which is just one of my favourite bookshops in the world, and I went there for a book break video, which I will link to. It was really good fun. So they do this reading spa. I've definitely talked about this like multiple times, so I'm so sorry this is boring, but they do this reading spa where you go and hang out with a bookseller and get recommendations. You like chat to them for ages and eat brownies and drink tea and tell them everything you love in books, and then they come up with a whole pile of book recommendations for you, and then you can buy the ones you want, and like if you've got the book spa voucher, then a certain amount of books are included in it. It's really cool. You should go do it as soon as it is safe for us to be hanging out with other people. So The Next Step in the Dance was one of the books they recommended, and it was one of the ones that I chose to buy. It's also published by their own publishers, so the bookshop themselves publish a really small number of books every year, and this was one of them. And it's about this couple in a small town in Louisiana. I love small town stuff with people with big ambitions and whether or not they'll be able to escape from their community and from their past. I love that kind of thing. And in this book, it's this married couple, Paul and Colette, who I think are like very kind of popular and well known within this small town, but it's only the wife who has these ambitions of escaping and actually realizing that her husband is so kind of ingrained into this community. And what are they going to do? What's going to be the next step in the dance? I think this is also one of the ones that my chickens told me to read when I did that My Chickens Peck My TBR video. I have not been following what my chickens told me, but if they picked this one for me, I'm sure they know best. It will be a 5-star read. So those are my 5-star predictions, but yes, like I said at the beginning, please also let me know what are your 5-star predictions for me, and I'll see which books get recommended the most often. Cheers and have a nice weekend!